Scott Squirt and Emily the Embellisher bringing you yet another mediocre ski podcast, where we not only welcome you into our ski fam, but we bring the ski fam experience to you.
A fun, laid-back, and informational approach to the ski and snowboard community that you're going to love, whether you've skied once, twice, or are the best skier on the mountain. But don't get too excited, we're still better than you.
Whether you're on the early morning drive, carving up your favorite trail, or about to send it off a gnarly jump, listen in for some fast facts and a possible laugh. So friends, lower that chairlift bar, keep your tips up, and get ready for some ski speak.
Happy spring ski fam. Thank you for springing into Ski Speak. We're springing forward into another ski culture episode that's all about spring skiing. So let's spring into spring skiing now that spring has sprung. I'm one of your hosts, Emily, Big Air Archer.
Wow, that was a lot of fun. Using that as a springboard, welcome to episode 9. At this point, it's our untitled Spring Speak episode. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tardif, aka Tardigrade. We had a lot of fun with snowboard speak. I did anyways, even though I was bamboozled. I thought we were switching. But we had a lot of fun with the call-ins. I think that's something we're going to try to keep in some of the future episodes. But for now, we are back to our normal shitty podcast, our shitty ski podcast with episode 9.
And thankfully, we are springing back to reality. I am your third co-host, Scott, also known as Hot Brown Honey. Before we jump into anything, I want to make sure we give a shout to our social meds, also known as social media, to all you cool cats out there. We are Ski Speak Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We also have a YouTube channel, Ski Speak Podcast, and our website, skispeakpod.com.
Check them out.
Check them out. And as Emily said before, we are talking all about spring skiing today. This is part of our ski culture series.
I'm super stoked. I love spring skiing. And it's definitely one of the best parts of the season, I think, just because you kind of turn the corner into the last part of the year and all that you have to do is look back on the amazing season that you had and look forward to the next one.
So why make this a ski culture episode? Well, the culture is the heart of spring skiing. It really changes with the seasonality. And one of our goals of this episode is to get everyone interested enough to go out spring skiing at least once.
You definitely have to go. It's awesome because it has this whole nice shift. So it goes from the winter doldrums with the cold weather, and then slowly it begins to get warmer out. You have more consistent bluebird days. You kind of get this senior spring week feel that sails you through the end of the last couple of weeks of the season. It's like all of the best emotions bottled up.
Like if anyone's been to their spring weekend at college, it's somewhat of that feel where you're out partying and drinking and it's warm.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I never went to any spring weekend in college. I was studying.
Boo, we went to them together.
Well, I went to 2 because 2 other ones I was so drunk that I slept through, at least for the concert. So good times. But overall, yeah, I think there is a real change in vibe for spring skiing. It's a lot more fun. It's really laid back. And I think a big part of it is because everyone gets happier when the sun starts to come out in the spring and when you can spend more time outside.
Yeah, having some fun in the sun. Actually, one of my favorite memories when Scott and I were out west this past winter, we were at Beaver Creek and we had spring-like conditions from probably mid-February all the way through March. So we had a lot of this really great upbeat feelings. But at Beaver Creek, they have some really cool towns at the base of the mountain. And there was one in particular where there was just people outside partying. Lots of the heater lamps were out. People were in their bathing suits. There was a guy with a huge fur coat just without a shirt on. Oh, and then lots of sequins too. But
definitely need the heater lamps for those conditions.
Yeah,
Fact
right.
Check.
Like,
but really, it wasn't very COVID friendly. It was a lot of people who didn't know each other. They had loud music playing. Honestly, it was a good vibe. Definitely fun.
Yeah. Had strong après.
Strong après. We witnessed this from the chairlift. We didn't actually go in.
Yeah, like COVID.
I definitely want to see the picture of Tardif with the fur coat and sequins, because that's obviously him you were talking about. But you brought something up, Emily, that I want to touch on, and that's, you said it was from March or February to March. And that seems kind of early for spring skiing, but you guys had warm weather, and the spring ski season can be typically a quarter of the season, but it can be longer depending on how the weather really treats us.
Yeah, exactly. This year it felt particularly long just because it was more temperate outside. But yeah, like previous seasons, it's been pretty short, just April into May or whatever. As I was talking about earlier, a huge part of the ski spring culture is the clothing and how people kind of start peeling off those layers when it gets to be 50 degrees or more, and, you know, wear like the more fun clothing or the more elaborate clothing, the better. I know for me, like, I love wearing shorts when skiing. It's a really unique experience because you can feel the snow batting up against your shins and stuff.
I like to wear bathing suits. I tend to wear a t-shirt, which now we have Ski Speak merch t-shirts that you can definitely wear and show off when you go spring skiing.
Go buy one.
They're amazing.
And then oftentimes I throw a vest on, not to cover up the Ski Speak merch, but just for the look.
It's like an old 80s vest. It's kind of hideous, but it works.
Is it like fluorescent?
No, it's like I don't know why I almost said navy. I almost said navy green, but that would be. That doesn't make. Just made up.
Hunter green.
Army green?
Forest green is what I was.
Wait a second. Is navy blue named blue because it's the color of the navy? Like navy blue? Is that why? I've never actually thought of that. I've known navy blue as a color and never thought that maybe it's the blue that the Navy uses. But I feel like the Marines are blue, but I also don't know anything, so. Sorry.
We'll have to check it out later.
Off track. Let's reel it back.
Yeah, but good point.
Yeah.
By far the best part of spring skiing and the warm weather is being able to wear a t-shirt and shorts and fly down the mountain. You feel the wind on your skin. You're usually so bundled up in the winter that it's just such a freeing feeling to be spring skiing in as little clothes as possible.
Yeah. People wear bathing suits. There are girls out in just their sports bras and stuff. I'm not that quite ambitious. Yeah, it's awesome. You go out in your sports bra?
I rock my sports bra every season.
Yeah, I get my bikini area wax just for spring skiing.
All right, too far. Speaking of waxing, Tardif, we should talk about Sweater Man, shouldn't we? It's a great transition into Sweater Man.
Yeah, so a lot of people, they don't wear shirts or that sort of thing. There's a guy at Killington who goes in just overalls, no shirt, but he is so hairy, he is known to the locals as Sweater Man. And if you ever go to Killington in late April, May, you can definitely catch a glimpse of this guy. He's been there for years and years and years, and he is a local legend.
Brief disclaimer, Tardif is Sweater Man.
I wish.
Yeah. But one of the things too, so like, as we kind of mentioned, the style and what you wear while skiing changes, but obviously that's because the days get warmer. So in early spring, what you can generally find is that the mornings are still pretty cold. And then as the sun starts to heat up the mountains, you have the warm afternoons. And then after like 2 p.m., it gets pretty hot out. And so this definitely affects the conditions. So you look at where the sun's going to be and try to plan your day where you're hitting the softer snow when it's warm, but not too warm where it then becomes really heavy. And then towards the end or like late spring, it's just soft all day. So you can just go wherever you feel like when you're on the mountain, which is really nice and freeing. Again, kind of like taking off those layers and just having your skin exposed to the sun and the wave in your locks.
The wave in your locks. Okay.
Yes, like your hair.
The wind through your locks? The wind through your hair? Okay. Just making sure we got everyone on the same page there.
Yes, wind through your hair.
A lot of people don't wear helmets and they just don't wear hats or whatever. So all the power to them.
Yeah.
Also kids, wear your helmets.
Aye, aye, Captain.
I just got vibes of SpongeBob. All right.
Yeah. So with spring, it's very much a mixed bag. Some days you get bluebird days, these really nice, clear blue sky days. And other days you get very variable conditions. That's kind of the nature of spring. Sometimes you have these warm days. Overnight, the temperature drops below freezing and everything's frozen. The next day you have a lot of ice and it stays cooler. And then some days it's just warm all day and it's warm overnight. And then you end up with this mashed potato type of snow. That's where the snow becomes very whipped. It's very soft. You tend to get that at the base of the mountain especially, but you can get it anywhere. And if you're going over that snow and it slows you down, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Where you're going and all of a sudden you hit this patch and you slow down and your body kind of jolts forward a bit.
Like the inertia of it.
Good word. Good word.
Yeah.
It's just, I was going to say sticky, not nearly as good of a word. So
Yeah. It's a really weird sensation. Kind of like a roller coaster.
Exactly. And that's very characteristic of spring skiing.
yeah. And it's also a terrifying feeling because you feel like you're just going down at that exact moment. And you've got to like readjust all your weight and rebalance. So
Yeah.
it's just one of the few different types of snow that are caused by, I guess, some of these variable weather conditions. Another one, keeping along the Thanksgiving dinner theme, apparently they were hungry when they named these types of snow, is something called corn snow. It's a little bit more pellety, but this is a much more ideal snow to ski on. It's called corn snow because it's shaped like these little corn kernels, and it's just really easy to glide over, a lot more so than mashed potato snow.
Yeah, a lot easier to turn into. Sometimes you'll have them next to each other where you're like flying and whipping through the corn and then you get into the mashed potatoes and then you're like jerked forward. But oh man, so the corn type snow is great to ski in, but I do not suggest falling in it. This past season, as I was saying, I was wearing my shorts and I was super happy about this choice until I was coming in a little hot on a turn and ended up wiping out. I got a scrape all on the side of me. I had snow literally everywhere, like in my sports bra, in my underwear, in my shorts, in my socks, everywhere.
Captured on GoPro, ski fam.
Yeah.
We can share that with you.
It was not graceful.
I'll never have to worry about that because, like I said in an earlier episode, I never fall, so I'm all good.
You're just that good. So part of the reason why I fell there was because of the way that the actual trail had changed.
That was a difficult word to come up with.
Yeah,
You get inertia, but you struggle on trail.
Yeah. So, yes. So part of the reason why I fell originally was because the trail had changed drastically. So the beginning of the trail was full of snow from one end of the trail to the other. And in spring, a lot of times it melts or gets skied off unevenly. So you might find in the middle of one of your runs that there'll be a huge patch of dirt in the middle of it. In this particular moment, I was going onto like the very side of the trail because 90% of it was dirt. And that's why I fell, because I wasn't able to make my turn. But that's also one of the things to keep in mind with this is that there's like lots of exposed rock, lots of dirts in the middle of the trail.
Lots of muds.
Lots of muds.
Yep. Lots of obstacles.
You really need to actually be ready to react at any time because, like I was saying before, the conditions are just so variable in spring skiing.
Yeah, if you've ever seen those videos where they're skiing on a 1.5 foot wide sliver of snow, that can be what you face on the mountain sometimes with spring skiing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very true.
One of the other things too that you'll find is like at the base of the mountain or at the bottom by the chairlifts, there'll always be puddles there because that's where everybody is filtering into. And because the entire mountain tends not to be open towards late spring, you just get a lot of traffic, a lot of meltage. And so you'll have these huge puddles in like the middle of the mountain now that you'll also have to evade.
Yeah, it is very slushy, very annoying. It's all in spots where it's like flat, so you've got to like walk your way through it. It is not ideal at all.
Yeah, and the people who are the best will sometimes just jump over the puddles, and then everybody who kind of sucks will half jump or just fall into the puddle.
Like you?
Kind of, yeah. That did happen once or twice or 17 times.
Yeah. Yeah, but I know those people that can just jump over these puddles out of nowhere are just incredible. Life goals. I want to be able to jump on command.
Oh, life goal for big air archer is to get big air. Whoa.
Yeah, shouldn't you be doing that already on a daily basis?
Her cover is blown.
I'm like, chirp, 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 chirp.
All right, Ski Fam, we are renaming her Moderate Air Archer or Average Air Archer. That way you're AAA.
Oh,
Ooh, I like average.
yeah. That sounds okay, but I'm still a big air archer. Don't get it twisted. That's all I got.
But there are other challenges too on other parts of the mountain, even where there is snow. A lot of the trails can become really mogully this time of year just because there is such a dramatic, just because there's a reduction, like, just because there is a lot less grooming that the mountains are doing at this time as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of the most famous trails on the East Coast is...
Superstar.
One of the most famous trails on the East Coast is Superstar at Killington, where it's the trail that stays open the longest all the way through May, and it's just covered in moguls.
Killington will literally spend the entire season building that trail up so that it stays open, but when it's the only trail left, it is really, really lousy to ski on because it's all moguls.
Yeah. Usually, like during the regular season, we'll always escape into the trees to hopefully get some better snow or avoid the crowds. Just it's a place to hide out. But during the spring season, you're generally not able to do that. There's way less trees, way less terrain that you're able to access. So everybody is filtered onto those different trails. And this will be the age-old question of who creates those moguls, if it's the snowboarders or the skiers. But nevertheless, these moguls are created because of people going down the mountain.
No comment. So with all of these variable conditions and all of these challenges that are going on, you know, who goes? Why even go spring skiing?
The fun people! Like me! That's all I had.
Or diehards. Either of those types of people will go.
Another thing is that a lot of people that continue to go during the spring, even though there aren't a ton of trails open, are of course the locals. So you'll find that with the people that are continuing to go, you're kind of getting to like the heart and the soul of the sport. So the people that live there on the mountain, have friends that work at the mountain, the community that's built, it just changes and goes very much along with that like shifting culture towards the end of the spring.
And that translates a lot to the parking lots and the tailgate scene as well. In the winter, it's pretty freaking cold if you want to tailgate. People definitely still do it. But as it gets warmer, like I said, everyone is happier that it's sunny and warm outside. So everyone hangs out in the parking lots. It's a lot easier after the long day of skiing, in the slush, on the dirt, in the dirts, wherever you were skiing that day, to just hang out in the parking lot, maybe having a beverage. I don't know. We've never done that. But it's just an overall different vibe in the parking lot as well.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not even about the skiing. Sometimes it's about the tailgating. Kind of like if you go to a sporting event or a concert, the tailgating is just such a part of this culture. Emily and I, when we went to Mount Snow a couple of weeks ago, there was one guy who was just setting up a drum set, some speakers, and he was going to be a one-man band and just play in the parking lot.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was pretty cool. We were too busy getting on the mountain and skiing, but it was awesome seeing him and just seeing the setups that people had.
Yeah, and with this more fun, laid-back vibe and change in culture, the mountains are really... oh my god, I lost the phrase. The mountains are really embracing this. They're putting on all these sort of fun events. They're doing concerts. They're doing themed days. All sorts of crazy events that are a lot more fun.
Some of these events are like costumed competitions where, you know, who has the best jorts? Out of the three of us, I think I would win that competition.
We will have to have the Ski Fam decide.
Maybe we should do like a little leg competition, see who has the best jorts. Do you even own jorts?
I have a pair of jeans that is ripping pretty close to the upper thigh. So who wears short jorts? I wear short jorts. Or we can say who wears short jorts? Scott wears short jorts, because then that covers two of us.
That's true.
Okay, so the Stu Scotts are going to win this.
Basically, I don't even think I need to enter it. There's also like other competitions too that they have. So there's the cardboard classic where they give you limited amount of materials and cardboard, and then you make a sled out of it and race the sleds. So they get really creative with this. Or for example, there's the Imperial Challenge, which is basically a triathlon where you bike and you ski and you try to get down the mountain, and it's just a really fun atmosphere in general.
Yeah, and one of the most famous events or competitions at some of these ski mountains is something that I personally really want to try. I think we all do, but that is pond skimming.
Yes.
And basically all this is you ski down into, or you're supposed to ski over a body of water. So you just come down on your skis and you basically see how far along this water you can go while staying upright on your skis, not falling forward and smashing your face.
Yeah, and there are crowds on either side of this pond. They're cheering or they're shitting on you, depending on how good or bad you do. It just seems like a lot of fun. I want to try it. I want to see how ultimately bad I'll do. But I just want to do this.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be very good either, but it's on the bucket list to try one day for sure. Maybe next spring, because I don't think they're doing many pond skimming events this year or have done any, again, because of COVID. But next spring, pencil us in. Come join us, Ski Fam.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ski Speak Pond Skimming. Another one of these many sponsored events that we're going to be hosting next year.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
So Scott, like as you said earlier, this is a lot of diehards is what we would call them, or the locals from the towns. And it just so perfectly adds to the entire atmosphere. And it's not like diehards in terms of like needing to be intimidated by these people. These people are there simply because they love the sport. So the springtime would be an amazing time just to check it out, go to one of these events, and just kind of get down to the fun of it.
They make it fun for everyone. Everyone adds to the culture and the atmosphere. But unfortunately, at some point, these mountains have to close.
Wah, wah, wah.
And the timing of these mountains closing very much depends on the year and the amount of snow that they're getting. Mountains in Colorado oftentimes plan for a late April, early May closing. And this time of year, end of April, they just get dumped on with a lot of snow.
That's fantastic. I wish that happened in the Northeast. But I think we'll find here that the mountains choose a closing date, and then that's ultimately like they end up sticking to, even if they're getting a lot of snow, because they've highlighted which trails they're going to keep up with, which trails they're going to groom. And so there isn't as much flexibility. Just the warmer weather comes and destroys one rainstorm, will wipe out all the snow, that sort of thing.
Yeah, there's so much planning that goes on behind the way that ski mountains operate and the logistics behind it that they kind of have a set plan, and even if they want it to stay open, they can't really deviate from that too much. No matter how good the weather may be, if it doesn't happen when they're already slated to be open, they're probably not going to reopen, because it is a business after all as well. You can't just do whatever you want without thinking about the financial obligations.
Yeah. And just even probably having the bodies, like those seasonal workers have signed contracts and they're expected to stay until April 15th, and then that's it. So they can't like just say, oh, okay, well, actually it just snowed. Can you extend your contract for another 2 weeks for us?
Yeah.
There's really only a few that extend their seasons, like a Winter Park or an A Basin, Killington. Certain ones kind of plan that, but most of them do shut down. And one thing actually that we didn't really mention, rain is worse for the mountains and trail conditions than just warmer weather.
Yeah, you've all probably seen it. If it snows one day, then it rains a couple days later, it wipes away all that snow. So it does the same thing on the ski mountains. It is just devastating to any sort of snow.
Yeah.
But just because the season's coming to a close, have no fear. As we've talked about in some of our earlier episodes, there are some other summer skiing options.
Have no fear. Skiing's still here.
Woo!
Yeah. So, of course, like we talked about in the beginning, there's always the Southern Hemisphere. So while it's our summer, it's their winter. We can always go and do an international trip over the summer if you're that ambitious. But if not, there are options here in the States, such as Timberline at Mount Hood in Oregon. Oregon? Washington.
Oregon.
Oregon?
Yeah. This is the literal conversation we had back in episode 2.
Yeah. Deja vu, ski fam. Yeah, Timberline Lodge at Mount Hood in Oregon stays open oftentimes through August. Big Snow American Dream, that's right outside New York City in New Jersey. It's a little man-made indoor facility. Everything is artificial. They stay open year-round, but it's an expensive option.
Yeah, but if you're desperate, just got to do it. I think we'll all probably end up going just one day.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll probably spend the money and just go once.
Yep. And we'll report back.
But hopefully through this episode, we have convinced you, Ski Fam, to at least take the plunge and go spring skiing at least once.
Yes.
It is difficult, or it will be cold and then warm, and then you will have snow in all of your crevices, but it is fun and it is worth it.
Definitely.
Get out there, experience the culture, experience the atmosphere, go tailgate, go have fun. Ultimately, it makes you a better skier to have all of these variable conditions.
And you just never know what you're going to see or experience while you're there. I feel like it's just always kind of like wrapping a present, pleasantly surprised at the end of it.
You might get a T-Rex costume. You might get a fur coat.
Yep.
You might get all of those in one. A T-Rex with a fur coat.
And if you're lucky, you'll get a sweater man sighting.
Woo!
All right, so we have one more episode coming at you, Ski Fam. We're going to wrap up, reflect back on this previous season, talk about how COVID has impacted the season. It changed a lot of things in our experiences, so we're going to tell you about those. We're going to look back and see if our predictions were right as well. See who was right and who was wrong. Who gets the this time.
My guess is Emily.
Probably. Anyway, thanks so much for listening. We look forward to our next episode and wrapping up the season.
Peace out, Ski Fam.
Woogity, woogity, woogity.
Thanks for listening to Ski Speak. Join us next time as we continue the stories, facts, laughs, and of course the embellishment. See you on the mountain, Ski Fam.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll refer to the spring snow as corn, or another phrase is mashed potatoes when it's even softer and like almost it's a whipped feel underneath your snowboarder skis.
And you put a bunch of turkeys out there in weird costumes. You've got Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. Thanksgiving in April. I'm thankful it's spring. So who goes spring skiing?
Fun.
Everyone.
Just fun. Well, I would say fun people go, which is why Emily and I go and not Scott. Burn.
Yes.
Got him. I've been waiting all episodes.
I don't enjoy
for that
fun. Wah, wah, wah.
So it's either fun people or diehards. Also not Scott. Burn. Got him again. Boom. Roasted.
Boom, roasted. Yep, love it.
That's it. I'm retiring from
And
this
also, oh, wait. And then experts go because, they're the diehards, right? But then also the newbies go, so the people that are still like trying to learn, because it's easier and softer to go, I guess. But I don't know if I'd recommend for them to go, the newbies, to learn.
You definitely missed an opportunity because you were like, experts
know.
go. And I thought you were going to say, also not Scott.
Yeah,
But
that's what I thought.
I
you
know,
were
that's where my head went, and then I got lost.
And then I thought you were going to say newbies also go,
And he's
which
not
is
a
not.
newbie. Yeah, that's where my head went, but I just didn't make the punchline.
I'm just a nobody.
So he's not an expert.
Nobody
Nope.
knows. All right, back on the rails, shall we? Okay,
yes.
we're going to stay
Yeah.
off the rails.
Sorry.
No, I'm gonna try to make my...
Let's just unicycle our way through the rest of this episode. Ooh, guys, imagine unicycling down the mountain
While juggling skis.
while juggling skis, outrunning those ski zombies.
Yeah. So, for the fam, we were talking when we were preparing for this episode. Yes, we prepare for our episodes. Might not seem that way.
I was going to say you
But-
would not notice based on today. If you heard any of our raw episodes, you would be like, no, lies, fake news.
But we went off on this wonderful tangent on top of, we've been building a brand here. So we want to build Ski Speak Mountain. We want to build Ski Speak Ski School. We definitely have talked about that before. But we also have started to come up with a fun comic book idea. And one of the enemies are the zombies.
Cut.
We can't even see the rails anymore. We are so far off of them.
All right, fine.
I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna go fishing and I'm gonna reel us back in. All right, ready? Ski fam, you can't see this. Oh, I got one.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah,
Okay, back on the trails.
You got me.
On the rails.
No, trails is good. Thanks for listening.